Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we're going to be taking a look at a funky sort of a game that was sent on over in the replays channel of the Discord, which is always of course linked down below. Today we're going to be taking a look at a 4-way, 3-man free-for-all battle. So what does that mean exactly? It means we've got 4 different teams going to be spawning on each of the corners here of flats and forests. A very wide open, and very metal-rich map where each of these commanders are going to be spawning and vying for control over their section of said giant and metal-rich and very wide-open map. So today we will dive right in here and meet all of our team leaders. In fact, we may well just meet every team here, as they are only 3 people a pop, and as in fact you can see, we also have Legion turned on. So Legion, I feel like, is more and more a staple of these regular games, right? Like, we're seeing Legion all over the place, a little bit more. You know, maybe the glamour is starting to wear off ever so slightly, but certainly I get excited every time I see Legion. And our blue team leader, of course, spawning as a Legion commander, it's going to be Mar Blazer. Now, playing right alongside Mar Blazer, we also have Bob Was Taken, spawning to the northern side here. Going to be playing as the Powder Blue commander and also as Legion. And all the way in the back, oh, to round things out for Zup Baby, it's another Legion commander going into a good old-fashioned air lab. The Legion, technically a drone plant, actually. They're the only faction that has distinguishedly a drone plant rather than an air lab. Maybe that's like I mean, that may be the single biggest lore tidbit that Beyond a Reason has. That, and the fact that the commander is about 30 feet tall. That's like the 2 things that we know for certain about the Beyond a Reason lore. Legion uses drones, everybody else uses aircraft. What the distinguishment means, couldn't tell you. Something is thinking inside of those other ones, but these are being remotely operated, I suppose? Nice little bit of aggression right here from our red commander, who is going to be playing as a Legion commander as well. It's Prime Hybrid, spawning to the left-hand side and the bottom left-hand side. Going to be Prime Hybrid. The orange commander here spawning just to the northwest. It's going to be Astalgi, our first Armada commander of the game, and another Legion commander. Wow. It is a Legioned out game here in sort of the salmon cover. It's my covers, and going to be pushing a little bit more on that northern angle here. To that northern angle, we have our yellow commander, Alrel Soulfire, the 31 open skill leader here of the match, and also the yellow commander is going to be going for some good old-fashioned Legion bots as well. We also have our first core commander just north of that, the tan commander, Golden Sane. And just to their right, we have the also yellow commander, kind of a golden, an off-yellow, darker golden commander here. 112381442. A name I will not say for the remainder of this cast, but is certainly playing a good game here as Legion. Very good to see. And spawning on the far right-hand side, top right-hand corner, the Blunderboss as our green team leader. We have the dark green commander, also as Cortex, is going to be Razor Z, and Sloaney123 playing as our Legion commander here. So, okay. We've got a tremendous amount of Legion in the match here today. We've got all Legion for the blue team, which means, of course, I'm rooting for blue to win here at this point. We've got, what is it, 2 Legion commanders here for the red team, 2 Legion commanders here for the yellow team, and 1 Legion commander here for the green team. Now, one of those weird things about Legion is that you suffer that 80% metal loss, right? The metal extractors mine 80% the mineral cost of the mineral extraction of the actual point right there. So that's a 2.1 metal extractor, and we're actually only extracting 1.6. But that scales really, really harshly, because all of a sudden what it means is that over the course of, well, say a dozen or so metal extractors, you're pulling 80% of the overall resources back to your team. It can start to add up very, very quickly is what I'm trying to say, which is one of the reasons why I would love to see, especially these teams that do have other factions, Cortex and Armada and all the rest of those, sending constructors out. Yeah, using the cons to build the regular metal extractors in lieu of the Legion constructors building theirs. Use the Legion commanders to build those very lovely overcharged metal extractors, or maybe some of these wonderful advanced solar collectors, but don't focus so much on the metal extractor expansions. I think that's the ideal strategy here if you really wanted to get into the nitty-gritty min-maxing of the strategies here, but it is the kind of thing you need to take the edge in one of these games, because obviously you're fighting on 3 different edges. You've got 3 other teams that you're trying to vie for control against and for over the map. It means that you really have to be on top of it here. I'm liking the expansion already from the blue commander. Obviously, those Legion units are quite cheap and very easy to put out on the field. It's part of the reason why it even works at all, that you get 80% of the metal of everybody else on the map. But also, of course, it means that those cheap, expendable units, they can cover a wide area, and that wide area can be very useful also for especially big maps like this, where you can just put a lot of pressure in different angles, right? If the enemy sees your units moving around, they have to address it, or otherwise suffer the consequences, but then it means that their front line is a little bit weaker, whatever else that they're trying to send forward is a little bit weaker. It means good things for you if you can manage to distract with some cheaper units to get their very expensive ones off the line and into a worse position for them, defensively speaking. I want to zoom out here to appreciate the way that these lines have been set up. The red team here with a beautiful little like three-fronted line right now. Yeah, we've got the tan, yellow, and gold commander all establishing their lines to sort of protect at the moment. We've got the red team going for kind of like this weird, I don't know, weird boot-shaped sort of a thing, this weird California-shaped sort of a thing, and then the blue team likewise doing the same sort of a, you know, three-pronged, three-laned lineup right here. Green team going for much the same, as we do have indeed the green commander sort of holding a little bit more like that. Very, very aggressive on the expansion right here for Razor's Edge, and I think that's absolutely what we want to see, especially towards the middle of the map where everyone's racing to get into. It makes a lot of sense to put a commander and at the very least a couple of units out there onto the field to try and capture all that. So far though, everybody looking to expand their economies. Look at the absolute pork fest going on over here on the northern side. The Blunderboss as well as our golden commander or golden hero right here, both going for a bunch of static defenses. It's walls and LHTs for gold, and it's going to be just pure LLT, those guard light laser towers for our lime green commander spawning on the northern side here. I don't mind it, but of course this is obviously because we're just going for greed in the backline, right? If there's no units on the front line and the metal's, well, going somewhere, it's going to be going into eco. We do indeed have those advanced solar panels coming up. Love the resbots here as well. Of course, they can reclaim those trees, giving you 29 energy per second. It's a pretty worthwhile investment. And of course, once you're ready to start producing units, they can be very useful on the front line as well, reclaiming either mass wreckages or, of course, just repairing your own troops and resurrecting them, all that sort of a good stuff. Marblazer stepping forward here too. Everybody and their mother just excited to build a bunch of LHTs on the front. Very few units. I feel like we've seen basically no aggression from anybody. Maybe that's all about to change right here as finally we do see some of these ballistas stepping forward. Gonna be more than enough to take down the LHTs right here and as well the goblins. Goblins might give them some trouble, of course, because they're so fast and difficult for those rockets to hit. But at the end of the day, the ballista are so tanky that with this many of them, they're gonna be able to hit eventually. Mostly a scouting error here, as we don't have the vision in order to actually fire these rockets accurately, so it means, yeah, it means the rocket bots can't actually hit the LHT. Oh, no. Oh, some friendly fire, too, of course. Spicing things up with a little bit of friendly fire. Friendly fire isn't. Remember your creed, Helldivers. Sloaney 1, 2, 3. Going for a T2 lab. Okay, well, I guess we know what all the units have been doing. What all the lack of units have been doing. Yeah, I mean, okay, the ballista are pushing forward. They're going to start firing away in a beautiful little pattern right there. Not managing to kill all too much, but it certainly looked nice. Metal extractors falling, and this is like our biggest engagement of the match so far here. We also have some of these bad boys, the Satyr moving in. But yeah, okay, we've gotten to T2. We've got the T2 units on the field. The hoplites are going to be fabulous for shutting all this down. I mean, this is not a terrible situation for Sloaney all of a sudden. Very low on resources, right? I mean, this is a very greedy start right here for our lime green commander, or light green commander who's going to be going for those T2, but at the end of the day, I mean, it really doesn't matter. The T2 are on the field, and that's really what matters. This was not a strong enough push right here from Powder Blue. We'd also have an engagement on this side as well. It looks like those aggravators firing away here into those Satyr. Going to take a pretty fabulous trade right there. Those thugs with their beautiful new animation marching along as they look so Cortex nowadays. Satyr can be really good, but effectively what you do with Satyr is make as many of them as you can. You try and overwhelm your enemy by just making 3 times as many units as they have, using the Satyr and then resbots, of course. Satyr are super cheap, very energy inexpensive, so it means you can resurrect them very easily here as well. But unfortunately for our salmon-colored commander, that is quite simply about double the metal here in the enemy army pushing forward here. Yep. Olaris taking a casual little break. They will finally get involved. These can be a huge threat. Agitator's not particularly well suited to fire away at these very fast-moving light tanks. I mean, okay. The Olaris completely turned this around.
Commander destroyed.
If we micro them, I think we could win this with the Olaris. If being the main Main point right there. Blue commander falls. Prime hybrid moving in for the reclaim. Whole bunch of goblins now sprinting forward right here. LHGs firing away whenever they can, trying to connect. Not the best at hitting those moving targets. That is one of their vulnerabilities. Really, really depends on the angle that you put those LHGs in. If they have the right angle, they can do way more damage than a regular light laser turret. At the wrong angle, they will do much, much less. We're going to reclaim? We sure will. Okay. Eventually going to reclaim that commander corpse, and that does mean that we should be seeing a T2 jump pretty quickly here. Already with a fabulous solar economy, the red commander is ready for that T2, just looking for the right opportunity. We already have a T2 lab out here for the orange commander, and in fact it looks like we will be sending metal back that way to buy a T2 constructor. Don't mind that whatsoever. Of course, that's super, super efficient, but when you have an extra 2,000 on the field, you may as well just plop down that T2 lab of your own, of course. That are going for some more solar panels. Either one of those works quite nicely here. In this case, it's going to be the T2 mexes first, which I don't mind at all, of course. Things are looking quite good for the red team. On the southern side here, the goblins, they're not going to do so well. Yeah, those light laser skirmisher tanks, the Helios, very, very good against this sort of a thing. The very light compositions where they can blast away from long range. As soon as you turn around to engage, they just, well, turn around themselves, and they've effectively escaped. An Inferno battle on the northern side. Barrages firing away in a controlled manner here, trying to attack the ground. Not actually in range to attack the LLTs right here. This might be a little bit of a blunder. A radar tower a little more aggressively placed on the front could solve that issue. Looks like the gold commander has actually retreated now. We are going to go into bots, interestingly enough. We've already got T2 up and running, though. I mean, this is... We're seeing the... You know, modern arms versus sticks and stones about to happen right here. His fiends are already built up in mass. We've got 21 fiends at 4,200 metal total. Gonna be going up against, like, what is this? 2,000 metal worth of tanks? Oh, okay, well, okay, it's about 4 or 5,000 metal worth of T1 tanks, but still. These are barrages. These are siege units going up against assault units. They don't stand a chance. When they move out, and that's, I guess, the question we're all waiting for the answer to. Satyr here, or Hoplites rather, have not really achieved the value that I thought they would. They kind of came out super early, and then I think they were used on the defense, and then they weren't really exaggerated all too much further here. Sloaney 1, 2, 3 might have been able to sneak these past and do a whole bunch more damage a lot sooner, but didn't manage to do so. A lot of these metal extractors are still intact. I mean, hit squads of 2 or 3 of these running around in every which direction, they can do so much damage. I mean, these are unguarded, right? These should not be allowed to come up here. You need to start harassing these to death. Love the green commander expanding out into the midsection. Contesting it with those light tanks is nice and all for the vision, but at this point in the game, we are into T2, and it's time to start moving away from those. Hoplites are shut down right here. I can see exactly what's happening. We've got the blinders on. We're hyper focused on this lane, and we're not really paying attention to the fact that if we actually zoom out and have a look here, there's so much range, so much vision right here that we can just go around. We're fighting into the teeth of the enemy, when in fact we could just move these units. Oops. Move these units around like this and head into the base. Now, obviously, Sloaney doesn't actually have full scouting of what exactly is going on. Doesn't know the base is here as opposed to, you know, anywhere back here. But still, knowing that the enemy has built a bunch of defenses right here means that the defensive line ends right here. Effectively, their range ends right here. You just go around and then you've won. One of those important things to keep in mind. One of those really easy things to lose track of and very important to keep in mind because it really does determine whether or not you end up with a really good trade or not. Solid D-guns right there. My goodness, from Prime Hybrid. Thought that was going to go a whole lot worse right there for the red commander, but actually managed to D-gun down basically every single one of those phalanx that came out to the front line here. Those shielded riot defense bots, super difficult to deal with otherwise, especially with the T1. Going to be melted apart, of course, at 500 energy a pop. Certainly way more efficient than whatever metal and energy went into building them. A couple of these adorable little rover drone builder things. A queso? A CISO? A queso. A queso. Pretty sure all of those were wrong, but either way, these things are wonderful. They spread their wings like a little, like a butterfly, or like a little, I guess butterflies don't spread their wings, like a ladybug. They spread their wings like a ladybug to assist with whatever they can. All the Legion stuff kind of does that, but these little constructor buggies are just the most beautiful little things. Very similar to a butler here. You can see they have build power of 120, which is about half that of a build turret. They also have quite a bit of speed, though. They can be used as a constructor. They build metal extractors. They're a very mobile solution. They work out quite nicely. Love the AA mixed in here as well. We do have those Chirons, or Charons, the anti-air minigun truck. Doing huge work against those drone platforms that are sending out those scout drones. Means that these gladiator tanks can fire volley after volley here into these T1 defenses, shrugging off the light heat ray blasts and melting apart all of this T1 stuff. Lovely, lovely work from our orange commander, finding some purchase right here. Okay. Bob was taken in a lot of trouble. Boom goes the commander right there. Fires off a D-gun to kill one more of those phalanx, or maybe two. But at the end of the day, will fall here as well. Counter phalanx coming out here. But all said and done, the production has already skyrocketed. We've got the fusion reactor, we've got the E-converters. This has basically already been scaled. I wouldn't even mind seeing it scale a little bit further, right? Continue scaling the economy. You've already got the lead. You may as well keep it growing while you're continuing the push right here, right? And there's 1,000 metal to fund the rest of that next fusion reactor. Always worthwhile to keep in mind. Sheldon here. Making very short work, very slow but steady work of this front line here. We do have the spy bot, which is always nice, of course, providing perfect intel on where exactly each and every one of these units is. Meaning that the barrages really don't stand a chance here against the Sheldon ball. A Sheldon ball with a nearly perfectly microed spy bot can be basically unstoppable. And I fear that may be what the Golden Commander is feeling at this very moment, realizing, wait a second, there's not actually anything I can do to shut down these Sheldon, because as soon as I fire, they've already moved out of range and they can still hit me back. Goblins are not a bad idea. Using those to try and overwhelm the Sheldon is certainly possible. The spy bot here in a little bit of danger as well, but it looks like those will get backed off. The Fiends here
Commander
a decent enough
destroyed.
option. Oh, and there we go. Last commander for the blue team is sniped at the very last second on the bottom side by the T2 reinforcements for that T1 army. It means our first team has been knocked off the face of this planet. Well, okay. All of a sudden, Sloaney getting a kill, the green and red teams basically working in tandem to kill the blue team on the southern right-hand side. It means all of a sudden that the red and green have become enemies. As you can see, almost immediately all these tanks start rolling across. Yeah, I think we just send them. I think if these tanks just go across right now, they might be able to do way more damage than the red team was ready for. Prime Hybrid trying to move in here to, well, absorb as much of this metal as possible. There are some wrecks left behind. Always a bit sad when you watch the enemy team's base explode, right? Would it be a juicy reclaim? So much pork on this side, my goodness. We've got the Dragon's Jaw, the pop-up riot turrets firing away here. We've got the cluster munitions also firing at whatever they can. Not bad at all, but of course it does mean that this side isn't really reinforced the same way. Mantis drone carrier moving out towards the northern side. And we've got the green army clashing against the red. Those Prometheus heavy assault heat ray tanks blasting apart anything that dares to get a little bit too close here. Medium tanks well included. And I wouldn't go so far as to say that their damage is uncontestable. Certainly the medium tanks can endure it for a little while. But they're very efficient. For their range and their cost and their speed, they're very efficient in placement if you just need to deal with a bunch of stuff coming at you way too fast. I like this position here. I think we just need to start building construction, or metal extractors. We do have one constructor building metal extractors, but I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of constructors attached to it. In fact, we will. There we go. Yeah, we do have some T2 constructors. Lovely stuff right there from Sloaney. Showing off some good stuff. Good plays. Sheldon continuing to hold control over this northern side. We're well and away past the fortifications here. You can actually reclaim walls super easily. They have a very low build cost. 255. Build power here of 200. Means in like a second they would reclaim this wall. Resbot's kind of a very effective anti-wall measure. And you gotta remember, I mean, that is 500 metal worth of walls right here. If you reclaim all that, you're in a pretty good spot. Okay. Looks like the light and medium tanks have basically sat still against the Inferno Barrage here from the Prometheus. Basically ensuring as good of a trade as you're ever gonna get. Bunch of Chimera being set up all over the place too. Very cute little static defense. Has a twin rotary Gatling cannon as well as a heavy impulse blaster. Firing hot condensed matter out into oblivion. And, well, the units are here to suffer the consequences. Impulsed into non-movement. Turned back is the Horde. Wouldn't mind seeing some build power either. We don't have epic units turned on or the extra units turned on, so we're not quite ready to see like T2 con turrets or anything like that. But maybe just a couple of those T1 cons wouldn't be the end of the world, right? Just send these out to build some con turrets. All that can be very useful. Fusion reactors, more and more fusion reactors coming up here for the Red Commander. Interested in the scaling ever so slightly, moving it up piece by piece, right? The fusion reactor is the slow but steady, not nearly as risky, but also not as much reward compared to, for instance, the APHIS scaling. Much bigger investment, much bigger reward. Missiles being fired away all over the place. I wonder if we'll see a nuclear launcher. And a free-for-all, a nuclear launcher can be devastating, of course, because nobody expects a nuclear missile launcher. Such a tremendous expense. Very, very difficult to justify. Sheldon R being cleaned up, okay. Incinerator without the energy to fire is unfortunate. Oh, yeah. No energy means the incinerator goes down without hardly doing anything. Couple of Sheldon took the brunt of this engagement on the southern side, but the Fiends will clean up the rest of it. Those thugs are no more. And we've got our match basically triangulated. Chimera once more going to be tested. Gladiator tanks are underwhelming. Pressed for some sort of response, the Gladiator tank can provide the firepower needed. But there's almost always better options. The Triton, for example, is one option that works quite well for Legion. Quite a lot of range, pretty good damage, relatively efficient cost. Drone warfare here on the northern side. My goodness, we're actually going for the T2 walls as well. Not only are we going for the T2 walls, but we're going for a double thick envoy of T2 walls. We've actually gone for twice the walls here on the southern side. And we're not done yet either. We've got more anti-air turrets, cacophonies, build turrets, all sorts of stuff popping up here, including the pop-up multi-weapon defenses, the Chimera. The yellow team going for the hide behind walls until the eco is so ginormous that it cannot be contested strategy. Not a bad one. Not a bad one, but a tricky one because obviously reclaiming the enemy also a very valuable strat. What's bothering me the most, though, is not seeing any air constructors moving out to grab all these metal extractors. We've already got resurrected and, well, non-resurrected commanders. We've got a regular commander and a resurrected commander about to come up and running. Both of which should be moving around here to grab these metal extractors. Try to, at the very least. We're going to be reclaiming, which is not the end of the world, of course. Quite nice, actually. But yeah, grabbing the metal extractors should be top priority here. We do have the con turret, or the con vehicle, rather, moving out to do all that. Again, a big, well, a slow but big movement on the northern side here. We're moving those tanks into position. Incinerator resurrected will be used. Yeah, I mean, it blasts down those medium tanks pretty good. There's not a lot of options that are even good against medium tanks, so to find one that is just alright is still better than most. We've just got to be careful. Those incinerators tend to have a reputation about friendly fire. Well, I don't mind this Sheldon push on this northern side. I feel like a little bit of a deviation in strategy might be the right call here. Going for something like big bombing runs or trying to sneak up to T3 economy as quick as you can, things like that can be effectively game-winning, because what you're really up against here at this point is two different teams trying to push into you at the exact same time. You get the red team encroaching on that southern side. We do have one of those T3 carries tanks, by the way, rolling out of a laboratory here for our lime green commander, or light green commander, Sloaney123. Going for some of those APHIS, going for the E converters, all that regular eco scaling that you know and love. Providing immense firepower on the front lines. Lovely stuff. I don't like the strategy here from the yellow team. I really don't. I think this, I think hiding behind the walls right here really just doesn't scale as well as the other strats here of going out on the map and trying to be as proactive as possible. Stealing resources. Yep, there we go. Strider's now running forward here, realizing we can overwhelm all these Sheldon with just good old-fashioned Striders. Now they make it into the backline. Green Commander Or green team, rather.
Commander
Down
has
to just
died.
2 commanders. Striders continuing to make their way into the backs. Aphis, the primary target here. I would love to see. Yep, nice. We target down the E converters. Means the build power, part of the build power chain reacts. Can we see a little bit more? There's more E converters. Do we see them? Oh, we just barely haven't seen them. We don't know about the E converters just to the south of those 2 Striders. Oh, what a bummer. Looks like these 2 will make their way into the back line. Maybe we can pop the build power and take out this economy in the back here as well. The Blunderboss owning this. Obviously, popping the Aphises here should be prime. We've lost all APM. Oh no. Conturrets can't really reach out that far. E-converters do pop. Fusion reactor. Oh, so low. The micro. Oh no, micro against the conturrets. We needed to back off so the conturrets couldn't hit it. Fusion reactor should have been the primary target right here, but they just didn't quite manage to get it. Prometheus still putting on a bunch of pressure on the southern side, though. Looks like those carries did eventually fall here, not without great fight, as indeed there's corpses strewn about just every single direction here. But Sloaney will manage to degun down at least another one of those Prometheus. We have the heat ray drones providing some flanking damage. Oh, down goes the commander, though. Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, commanders and common deaths, Razor's Edge is the only commander remaining here for the green team. Typically speaking, in a free-for-all that's corners-based, once one corner goes, the opposite corner typically tends to be the next one to fall. This might be the first one I've ever seen not go that way, actually. The green team is in a dire way. At the very least, Karganeth are now making their way to the front lines here. Karganeth can be quite powerful. One hero goblin. We've got more and more of these hero goblins trying to sneak in, too. I love that. There we go. Yeah, Prime Hybrid grabbing the metal extractors. This is what I'm talking about right here. You can see our red hero at 300 metal per second. Largely, well, we've got a lot of E-converters. Okay, let's see. Looks like about 70 metal per second or so from the E-converters. All the rest of that, the other 230 or odd metal, all coming from the T2 metal extractors being built up here slowly but surely by the T2 Con. Love that we're using these buggies to reclaim everything too. That's a lovely use case for those. Now we've got the grown-up Striders headed their way across, or grown-up hoplites rather, headed their way across the javelins, firing away with their high point heavy autocannons. A barrage of 50 caliber, smoking across the map. I do always love to see these play. Aesthetically speaking, absolutely one of the top tier units. Their little anti-air missile, beautiful as well, adorable. Let's get a good shot of this. Praetorian enters the match. New challenger has approached. I kind of love it. I feel like the Praetorian is kind of the... This is like the Legion take on a Titan. They're like, oh, we can cram a bunch of weapons onto a thing too. Realizing that, yeah, the Titan's really only weapon is the laser beam. And the shotgun here doing some good work though. Actually, some really solid work. What was that? About 12% per shot right there. Obviously, gaining a lot of effect by being super up close. Razor's Edge in a ton of trouble. Astreus was built right here. It's not really meant for this close combat. It's not going to serve very well against the Javelin moving in. The base is in trouble. Wow. I can't believe it. The red team might actually manage to wipe the green from the face of flats and forests here today before they actually kill the yellow team. I guess it's the benefit of all this ridiculous degree of pork. We've got the... We've got rows and rows of T2 walls, all built up to protect these eviscerator cannons, the anti-air, all the rest of it. My goodness. What a match. There goes the base right there of our light green commander, who actually taps out of the game. Wind turbines. Sure to fall. The green team calls the resign vote. Razor's Edge will be the next in trouble. This is the last of the green commanders. More of these incinerators pushing forward. Those T3 units were so nice, but they just weren't quite enough. And especially considering they didn't really hold the southern side. They didn't even contest these metal extractors. Gotta give it to the red commander for simply producing more metal extractors and therefore producing more units. Grunt spam to fall here. No build turrets attached to this grunt spam either, so going very, very slowly. Comically slow grunt spam. Armies converging on the Aphis. Boom goes the green Aphis right there. The Javelins giving their lives to cripple the economy and the build power and all the rest of it for our lime green hero. Just like that, the dark green commander is the only one left in this match. This is the moment where you start considering second place, right? Maybe if I just survive long enough. Looks like all these units have been set to attack and also have walked through their own firing range. Destroy them all. With thermonuclear oppression, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10 nuclear missile launchers. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that is, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's overkill.
Self-destructed.
Yeah, self-D here for the green team. I think this is effectively... This is the moment where the yellow team needs to realize the T3 has to come online. Praetorian walking through to the base. These aren't your run-of-the-mill demons. They are much, much stronger. Those shotguns, the long-range cluster cannon, all the weapons they have mounted on top of them. The counterattack has been engaged. Wow, that's actually a brutal counterattack. Okay. Just a gigantic army of phalanx marching their way across. We do have the atomic bomber. Boom goes the bomber, but they can actually take the hit. One of the few units in the game that can actually stand up to the atomic bomber's collision right there. Tanking the atomic bomber's nuclear payload. Oh, okay, we're only firing one. I don't fight command or anything like that. We're just going to drop the one bomb and be done with it. Phalanx are getting pretty close to the base here. Nostalgia in a little bit of trouble.
Commander destroyed.
One of 4 commanders here for the red team, so we did resurrect one at the very least. We have a little bit of a buffer in that sense. Wow, I love the courage all of a sudden from the yellow team, moving out from behind their stone walls and finally making their way towards the other side of the map. They managed to kill one laboratory. Hey, there we go. We got some E-converters down as well. Okay. I think we're cleaned up here. If we had to take a look at the economies right here, you can see the red team, well, just barely. You can see that the red team has about 1,000 metal per second here, where the yellow has about half of that. 600 or so. I feel it may only be a matter of time before we eventually see some serious issues marching their way across the map here, in the form of course, a couple of these Sol Invictus. I like this spam right here. I'm really, really wondering what on earth we're going to do with this chain of advanced, or nuclear launchers, rather. Look at this swarm moving out here, though. Wow. The yellow commander with a map-wide swarm. Okay. I mean, hey, it's taken out a whole bunch of these metal extractors, which is super cool. Every one of these that falls does cripple the economy ever so slightly back for the red team. These Sol Invictus are still an issue, though. Literally nothing that you can do against these Sol Invictus if you don't have the right units. They are so tanky. Do so much damage, have so much range. They're kind of the pinnacle of T3 Warbot. Prime Hybrid setting up some defenses here. Trying to stay safe against the onslaught of goblins spamming around the map right now. Love the Sol Invictus here, though. I mean, the perfect unit for the use. Blasting through the static defenses, melting apart whatever they can, and they've cleaved their way through straight on down into the midsection of this map. All Rel Soulfire is detected. Will not be able to get a D-gun off on any of those Sol Invictus. The Bastion here trying their very best as well, melting. Oh, not even a percent per second, really. It's like 0.5% per second. Oh, these are really coming in very, very close. The Aphis are now within targeting range. The Invictus lock on immediately. Experimental heat ray ordnance, quite effective. Boom, goes the yellow base. Very nicely done. Energy stall is, of course, immediate. As all the Aphis, the fusion reactors, wind turbines, all the rest of it, it all pops. And yeah, to nobody's surprise, the tremendous Sol Invictus have managed to steal the show. And we've got an army of these Martyr headed in as well. Okay. Ending the game in a bang. Anti-nuke firing into the air. We've realized there's not much time left. Oh, they do manage to connect. Boom goes the tan base as well. The nuclear strike does connect. Beautiful stuff indeed. Very, very nice. GG is called preemptively here by the red team. As, yeah, indeed, I don't think there's a lot that either of these two teams can do about it. Martyr sacrificing themselves over the base here. For the final time this match, 1-1-2-3-8-1-4-4-2. Starts moving in. Oh, there we go. Yeah, red team, yellow, where's our last commander here? Oh, there we are. Golden Sane. Trying to, yeah, reclaim one of those. For sure. Ironically, has called the resign vote and also has the last commander. There's a way out of this match right here. Oh, well, that'll do it. Face first into a Sol Invictus will just about do it right here. Our red team heroes from the bottom left-hand corner managed to kill not only one, not only two, but basically all three of the teams in this FFA. A lot of the times you'll see some cheesy strats, right? Two people gang up on this team, and then they gang up on this team, and then they go all out. But the red team well and away won this battle fair and square, at least in this commentator's eyes. And thank you so much for watching. I sure hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about free-for-alls, of course. Always interested in covering whatever you want to see. That's right, you behind this screen. Because I love and appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you in the very next match of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.